Hey everyone, welcome back to JP's Budget Collecting and another episode of the Indie Show. Tonight we are reading the hottest indies going right now, I think, just about. We are reading Volume 2 of Something's Killing the Children, and it's been a while since we did Volume 1, but I got the same panel that agreed to come back and join me tonight. First up, we got John. What's going on, man?
Usually you save me for last. That's awesome. Woohoo!
I don't know. You were first on the board. So I just clicked the next one, the one next to me. So there you go. So,
Fine.
I know. I'm sorry. Yes, no. You got to be first tonight. There you go. And then we got my friend Kavi. Kavi, what's going on, man? Oh, I figured you'd have like an Erica mask already.
Fresh off my audition for the House of Slaughter. No, I'm good. This has been good because I've been able to dive back into this story that I was thoroughly enjoying and had let myself slip a little bit as far as like being up to date. I'm not up to date to like where it's at now, like John is, but I'm at least through volume 2.
Yeah.
Through volume 2.
Yeah. So. And then last but not least, in this case, I did save the best for last. We got June and Delphia. What is going on?
We're here.
You're here. All right. So now,
and we read it.
And we read it. And we reviewed the first one.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. We had to kind of go back and see where we left off.
Yeah, I kind of had to flip back through. Kavi's showing off all the Frisian cover. Oh, he put it down. I clicked on him.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there he is. Showing off all the slabs.
Yeah.
Lord.
Shaming us all.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Look at
I got more. Like,
I'm regretting not buying any of those prison ones now. I know that much.
Kavi,
Honestly,
where do you keep all of these books?
in the warehouse.
Well, he has a path that he can walk through to his other room. Otherwise, it's just comics. He's becoming TJ, not in terms of slabs, but in terms of art and comics.
You've got some great stuff, but it's a lot of stuff. So I'm like, Kavi, you're not selling it. Where are you putting it?
Well, those raw books are going to CGC in about 2 days. So
okay.
Yeah.
Which means you'll see those again in about 7 months.
Right. Probably for sale. But hopefully not 7 months, but you never know.
CGC they have like a special room just for Kavi books.
Yeah, Kavi book. They walk them right through. Oh, it's the Dontanis books. They go right to the headline.
That's right.
All right. Well, we got the Unruly Simeon joining us. What's going on, my friend? Kirk, Comics on the Mind. What's happening? Sam, I am. What's going on? So, yeah, Kirk's getting sucked into this. So I've only read the trades. I have not bought any of the individual issues. As far as I know, John's the only one that's read all the way through 15, which is where the story's at. You got Continuing Duffy. You guys have just read through this trade.
Yep.
So yeah, so the rest of us are all only through volume 2. So John's the only one that knows spoilers ahead of time. Beyond this,
No spoilers.
I'm glad I reread
volume
carefully, so now I know definitely what happens in which volume, so I can kind of like separate it out.
So, but we will be talking full spoilers through volume 2 tonight. So if you've not read this, I recommend coming back later and watching this. So first off, let's just start with impressions of this volume and jumping back into this after such a long time. We did this it was last June, I think, when we did the volume 1. Continuing and Delphia, we'll start with you guys. What were your impressions jumping back into this? What did you think?
I mean, I think I recalled us liking the first one. It was pretty good overall. So I felt like it's still good. I think some of the same issues that we had were the change of direction with the reading.
Like just going right across 2 pages.
Yeah.
Not knowing whether it was going to do that. You had to kind of scan the double page first.
And some of the pages they crammed a lot on it. Like there's some great art throughout. So, I mean, I think it's still worth reading. Yeah. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I think it stood up to the first. It wasn't quite as good as the first volume, I think. But I think that's good in a way that, it gets people hooked the first 5 issues, and then, it develops more of the story and you find out more what's happening, and why those people are there, and it kept it going enough that I'd probably want to read the next volume.
Yeah. Kavi, what about you, man? What's your impression on this volume?
My impression on this volume is stop being a little bitch, Tommy. That's it. No, I kid. I was kind of feeling that way until the cliffhanger of issue 9, which is like he's getting arrested like for a crime he didn't commit.
Yeah.
So he's gonna have to man up like a little bit. Like we'll see where that goes. I did think the Aaron cliffhanger at the end, basically the final cliffhanger of the issue was pretty appealing. It really took a lot for me to not hit that read issue 11 button on the good old iPad, because I have it right there, but I didn't do it. So I'm good. But I enjoyed it pretty much just as much as I enjoyed the first volume. I think, having that backstory about the scientific name of these creatures and what they are, and having the backstory of the House of Slaughter and like a little bit about what they're all about and how there's like mixed feelings about that on Erica's. Like I thought it added a lot of depth to the story, whereas the first volume was very mysterious in an exciting way. Yeah. And this kind of is starting to fill in some blanks here, fill in some holes, and sort of set you up for what I'm assuming is going to be a high stakes volume 3 of issues to come. So I enjoyed it.
I would agree with that. Before I let you go, John, it's just like I felt like volume 1 was very much this sort of like mystery combined with an action finale in volume 1, which was like issue 5. Of trying to just set up this world a little bit. And this actually like started filling in some of the details. So that like it was a little slower, I think, than volume 1, but it was definitely like I like that it started moving at the end. I like what we got in terms of deepening where she's coming from and why she's doing this a little bit. And and I will say I do agree with Delphia on the fact that the switching back and forth between going all the way across 2 pages or going down a page, like I found a little annoying. Like the art's fantastic. I just found that like because you did have to look each time and be like, okay, which style is this page? Kavi's got a point.
Just going back to grade school here. So raise my hand. Wait till I'm called.
You're called. Go.
See, I didn't have that problem because I was reading on an iPad. So I would suggest that this series is actually optimized for digital. I almost want to say it's almost a cleaner experience digital, I would say, than on the floppy. Like, and I have flipped through one of those floppy copies, and I prefer reading it on digital, frankly. Mm-hmm. So
that's a good point.
That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I probably would have upped a reading experience.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because sometimes he was like, we were reading it together, and sometimes Kachung had read down the page, and I read across, and then he was like, "Wait,
what is going on?"
Yeah. All right, John, you've been very patient. What are your thoughts on volume 2? I know you've been chomping at the bit,
which is impressive for me. Patience. No, I mean, I think you guys are pretty much spot on. I definitely find the issues I like the least from the 15 that they've done so far are pretty much all in this volume. I feel, for me, it felt like they had succeeded in their first arc, and then they're like, oh crap, we got to do more of these. And then they were like, let's stretch this a little bit. And there were issues that felt very repetitive to me, where like, okay, we're getting in and out of trouble the same sort of way over and over again. And so there were definitely moments when I felt like, okay, like we can hustle this along a little bit.
Yeah.
What are we?
Are we showing off the digital? Because Unruly made a comment. Digital, what's that?
I think to John,
I got my physicals also.
Yeah.
You got a lot of the physicals
and the raw copies. Yeah. I got them all.
So I like it less than the first volume. But not as much as eventually what you'll see is the third volume. I love like Javi's saying the backstory stuff. this is great because they gave us Erica in the first volume without like any precursor. We just get this incredible character who I still think is probably the best new comic book character I've read in decades, maybe. Like this character is like so perfectly defined right off the bat. And when she's leading this story, it's just tops. And then getting little snippets of who she was before and how the system in the house works. I like all of that. It gets repetitive for me when it's like the same idiots being idiots, like whether it's the sheriff who's just a punching bag, or the boys who are
Don't forget Tommy. No,
Tommy.
I could do with less Tommy. I could do with less of the sheriff. Like,
so for me, I had originally wanted it to be just one volume, like finish the monster, and then the next volume is a whole new place and a whole new story, and Erica's somewhere else now. And they felt like they strung this story out. Now I liked the story. I was never like, this is garbage or whatever. It just felt stretched a little bit for me, I guess is how I would say.
I would agree with that. I do feel like the addition of the babies, like, so there was more than one monster that she had to kill here. Like, to keep her in this town sort of felt unnecessary. I felt like you could have just done, like, her go to a new town and have different monsters that she had to deal with. But I also think part of that was to try to set up her. The reason they had her stay was trying to set up the fact that she and the House of Slaughter aren't exactly on the best of terms, which I assume they're going to develop more as the story goes along. But yeah, I think like a lot of the town people stuff I could do without. Just give me more panels with Erica being Erica. It's like really where I'm at on this. So let's I forgot.
I mean, those scenes are pretty like gruesome though, like sometimes like and horrific, you know, like
gosh, yeah.
Like this like bodies like being split apart from like the middle and like blood splatter.
Yeah, like there's a foot. There's a foot
right
over there.
Yeah. I like after reading it, I had to like yeah. Oh, yeah, that one. Yeah, that's such a memorable panel.
Yeah,
obvious reasons. But after I read that, I had to put on like Metallica, Master of Puppets, and like get some rage out. Like
that's before they went mainstream, so that's hard.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Put on some metal after that because I got all pumped up.
So because you kind of brought that up and talked about like just how graphic some of this is. Let's talk about the art for a minute, because like I feel like if you showed me a panel or several panels of this, I'd be like, but boy, does it fit, or at least for me, it really fits this story. What do you guys think of the art? This time I'll start with John because I made him wait till last time.
Oh man. No, I totally really like the art. I like that it's not clean. I like that it's not pretty. Even Erica, who is, a beautiful looking character, is clearly like meant to put you on edge. Mm-hmm. The fact that you can't ever really see both of her eyes, like she's always got something hidden, So yeah, I like that gritty element to the look of it. And it doesn't mean we don't get places like the House of Slaughter where everything's like pristine and kind of clean, but the line work is not. And that definitely plays on your psyche a little bit when you're reading it.
I just trying to grab some panels here. And Kavi, what about you? What do you think of the art?
I love it. I mean, it's great. I mean, you can tell that it's highly like digital. Like it's, it just doesn't have that pencil and ink comic book artwork vibe to it that is like my go-to comfort zone. But I love a lot of modern books that have digital artists. Fiona Staples and Saga come to mind. This comes to mind. So I do enjoy the artwork quite a bit. I do think that it's good that it isn't like crystal clear lines and stuff. Like if there's like a little bit of a abstract nature to it. Like I would love to see like a Bill Sienkiewicz variant cover or something like that in his like New Mutant style, like doing something as good. You imagine that? Like that would be incredible.
I mean, his style would fit so well. Like Sienkiewicz would fit this so very well.
Yeah, that would be dope. I mean, I don't know if you're listening, Boom Studios, but yeah, make that happen.
Oh yeah, they're here in the chat.
There we go. Hey, what's up, Boom?
He'd make some great covers, at least.
Hell yeah.
Well, the covers already are just
Covers are fire. I mean,
ridiculous.
prison covers. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
Conjuring Delphia, what do you guys think of the art?
I mean, something that Kachun mentioned when we were reading it was how much he really loved the use of lighting throughout the comic. There's just because it changes, when she's in the cave or when she's angry or anything. I mean, it goes from green to red. So I think they do a really good job. I agree with him. I think that they do a very good job capturing the emotions of the character through changing the lighting throughout the comic.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And as someone who loves horror, I think there's a good amount of blood, and they've done it in a good way. I know that's kind of gruesome to talk about, but I think that adds to the creepiness of this art, and just the story as a whole. It's funny though when you think about the lighting. As soon as you start seeing, you turn the page and it's a dark in the forest panel. You're like, oh, here we go.
Yeah. You get the clean little pages.
There's maybe a double page of dialogue that really shouldn't.
Does anyone know how to pronounce the artist's name, by the way? Because we kind of like gloss over who the artist. It's Werther Dell'Edera. I can't pronounce his last name, therefore I never like say it.
Dell'Edera.
Yeah. So I feel bad that we like never mention his name, never really say his name because it's hard to pronounce, and I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right. But yeah, Dell'Edera.
I think both he and Miguel Muerto, who does the colors, are both do a fantastic job. Like, and like I said, like if you showed me just out of context panels, I'd be like, I don't know if I like that art or not. It's pretty rough, but it fits so well with what they're doing here. I think really,
yeah.
Like even like the quiet moments, like where they're sort of nothing really going on bad. It's just like there's always a little bit of an undertone. Like this world is not pretty. Even like you get this great panel of the House of Slaughter, and that place does not look.
that was a cool splash.
Yeah.
And the little girl says, "What are you drawing?" And she said, "I'm drawing my house." And then you turn the page, and there it is.
She's like, "It's a scary looking house," and she's like, "Yep, yeah, I guess it is." And then there it is. Just like
there's definitely a sense of mystery in some of the panels that just builds that suspense. I know Delphia mentioned in the first volume the kid's glasses. You never really see his eyes, and then the same as John said with Erica, you don't really see her eyes fully.
You see the one. You only ever see the one. Yeah.
Or she's like really surprised, and then you see them both, and they're like they've grown to double the size,
and they're also glowing, which is interesting because it seems like she is human from what we've read so far. So for her to have these like similar glowing eyes to the House of Slaughter family is a little strange.
Yeah, because his eyes glow too. Like they're orangey. They don't glow like her green ones do, but
But they all still glow. Like no one else's eyes glow. You know what I mean? Throughout the book. So, but they definitely allude to the fact that she was kind of adopted. And then you get the backstory. So, she was adopted. And I think it's interesting I think the good thing about this book was that we learned more about her story.
That woman who saved her, who now serves as her inspiration in her, I guess, look and what she does. They didn't specify her by name in this yet.
I don't remember them saying. We're like the lady who's like.
I'm assuming that she's named either in the next volume or before the series is over, and then retroactively, that's the first appearance of whoever this person is named. But
right,
yeah,
because he's talking to her, but it doesn't actually. I don't think he ever says her name.
Right.
So for the eyes thing, I always took it to mean like these were people who had the ability to kind of see the beasts, to see the monsters. That the House of Slaughter and people. So I didn't notice it for Tommy because obviously Tommy can now.
Right.
If his eyes started to take on something of a glow, but I know I took it to mean like having awareness of what's going on, and that color work is really. I mean, it's one of. I mean, I love these Jenny Frison covers, and her eyes just. I know that the black and white ones are the popular ones, but it's like I hate not seeing the pop of her eyes. The color work is what makes them for me. So like this one in particular is just amazing with the light. It's the colors are so subdued, and then her eyes just blast. You know.
Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right, John. Because this is Tommy. I don't know. You do better at that. You show that panel, and his eyes start glowing.
Yeah. That one is that's my favorite.
That's
one.
the shadows and her eyes and all good. I wanted to mention too. You guys talked about the drawings with the little girl. The little girl does basically a variant for issue 5.
Yeah,
it's really cool. If you know the issue 5 cover well, like the one that she's the little girl's like crummy little drawing that she does. Is a variation of issues 5's cover where it's Erica jumping through the air with her blade and the beast down below her, and like it's a cool little like throw to themselves almost. I like that little, and you never see what Erica's drawing looks like.
No,
just the little girl like, wow, that's kind of scary, and then you see the real house. But I like that you don't see Erica's drawing. Yeah, that one.
I mean, that little girl is pretty funny too. The way she's
written.
What's how is it? Bian or Bian?
I think it's short for like Bianca, so it's Bian.
Bian. Oh, okay. Bian.
Yeah, she's just so matter of fact, like a real, like regular kids. They just
and she like doesn't want her to hurt the baby, like like, and even though they're gonna like continue to hunt her down, which she doesn't really realize, but like they're just hungry, like.
They don't know that they're doing things wrong. They don't know they're bad.
They're crying because they're hungry and they miss their mom.
Yeah. But no, like her, like some of the times you were talking about just the eye. Where is it? Get the right panel here, but like her eye just and it's so it like takes up half her face in panels. Like it literally is just like this giant,
The size of her eyes is very ephemeral.
Yeah.
That's what I look like when I'm around cats.
That's what I look like when I'm around chocolate.
So, go ahead. Duffy, were you going to say something?
No, I was just laughing.
So, anything else? I mean, we've only been going 20 minutes. There's not a ton. I mean, I feel like it's fairly straightforward story-wise. So what do we think of...
Well, right now we're at like the melee killing in the parking lot of the high school or is it the high school or is it the regular school? I don't know.
So, I mean, the story here is basically she tries to eliminate the babies, but can't because of their abilities unless they're feeding. So she's got to like try to like draw them in to eat something. And they end up basically finding the high school where they've taken all the bodies to be identified, and all these people are standing around. And we get the panel where Tommy like discovers, which I showed a minute ago, in the woods. He discovers like the dead body. Like
right, it was a couple of other new characters or kids that
didn't last.
They didn't last very long.
It lasted like 4 pages or something.
Brothers of
these two looking for their brother who Tommy's already found at this point.
Right.
It is,
Well, I guess I have a couple of questions. Like one, is she lying to what's the boy's name with the glasses?
James.
Is she lying to James about luring him to be the bait? Because they already had the discussion that essentially the children have to be dead in order for the babies to want to eat them until they get to a point where they can start killing things. But now they're already killing things. So it seems like They
But
should
she
have
doesn't know that yet.
to begin with. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I guess I'm just thinking if they had more, if she had experience like dealing with these, and it sounds like something happened. Maybe the Chicago incident's where she's from, but it sounds like there was something else that happened in Chicago, so she's aware of these beasts and know how they work. I would just think that she or the other guy would already know that they're going to start attacking very quickly.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like that is a little bit of a hole because they're talking about using the 2 kids that have been exposed to them as bait. Like,
Right.
they're going to come back for them, but they never like think about all the bodies that they like took out of the cave, like the remains that they took out of the cave, like the police did. Like,
Right.
It doesn't ever go into their thinking as they're trying to lay a trap for these things. And basically, that's where we get to the end is they're behind what's happening because the monsters are going to the school.
They inadvertently made a trap where everyone else was.
Yeah.
And she told the guy, look, there's 5 of these babies, and the three kids they killed wasn't enough to sustain them.
Right.
So they need more, and they're already at the school.
Yeah.
There was a really, I think, nice sequence where Erica, well, like James is kind of giving Erica lip about, because she's like, go put him in a classroom somewhere, and then he's like, you're just gonna leave, you're just leaving me again or whatever, and then she like comes up to him like close up, holds his like cheeks like a mom would, and is basically like, listen to me, I know what's best for you right now. This is about to get serious.
Yeah.
Listen to me. And then he's just like, okay, like he like believed it, like he took that to heart seriously and was like, okay, you're right. I'll listen to you.
I do regret, like, that's the one time, like, that conversation where, and he believes her, is we don't get the close up of her face telling it. Like, we don't get to see her eyes at that point, which I wish that was a panel we got right there. Just because
it would have been cool.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's so much of the story that's really told with her eyes or eye, because most of the time you can't see the other one. But like,
I do like the mom. Clearly she's grieving.
Yeah,
is that Tommy's mom?
Tommy's mom. Yeah, she was like, I don't know,
because she's just losing it.
Oh,
yeah.
I love when he's like, and she's like, did you deserve it? When he's got like this, like he's all mangled and beat up, and she's like, did you deserve it though? And he's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, probably.
Yeah, she's got the grief shock, like anger going on. Yeah.
You mentioned the idea that like it seems like these professionals should be more aware of the creatures that they're going against, and I think that the first trap that Erica tries to set on her own in this volume is a huge screw up for her, and she fully admits it. Right? She thinks, okay, I'm going to set this trap. I'm going to kill these things, and I think what it is it's her hope that she can solve this without further bloodshed.
Mm-hmm.
And the little octopus is like, this is not gonna work. This is not going to work. Like, why are you wasting time and resources? But she has hope. She's got like this optimistic, like, I want to do this without bloodshed.
Mm-hmm.
And of course the House of Slaughter is like, no, you got to just kill all these people. Like this town should just be wiped off the face of the earth, basically. Yeah. And we'll get rid of these little 5 beasts in the process. Like that's how we operate. And I think she will, as much as it seems like she should know better, and she clearly does because she admits it pretty quickly after, like she's now realizing how much that screw up is going to cost. It's not one that's done out of ignorance. I think it's one done out of just like, I really hope I can do this. Like there's got to be a way to do this better.
Mm-hmm.
And versus later on, like maybe the other guy blows it and he should know better. But I think she knew better. She just was holding on to some hope.
Well, it's interesting because it's clear that she's, as far as being in the field, she's actually better than he is, like at killing monsters, like actually at fighting these things, but that, you know, the House of Slaughter isn't like, yes, it's about fighting these, but it's more about like controlling who knows that these even exist, like as much as anything. And you can see that she's just become completely disillusioned with that. And as we got like hints at her backstory, I'm guessing that's what, because they're saying volume 4, starting at 16, we're going to get her origin, like fully. Like I think we're going to get like why she's disillusioned, but it's clearly like she went through this as a kid, managed to survive, is what we're seeing, and yeah.
The double page origin.
That's page where she's just like she had killed the monster like on her own before they got there. Like it's just, you know, so she has sympathy for all these people. Like she has sympathy for all of these kids and their families and everything else, whereas the House of Slaughter has none. And it does. I think John's right. It does make her make a mistake as she's trying to be overly optimistic. And her little octopus is like, you know, this isn't going to work. You know, this isn't working.
Wild theory right now.
Okay.
That mother is like the Anakin Skywalker of this story, and she's the Luke Skywalker of this story. And she, I'm just
Who has the high ground though?
That's all that matters.
Well, I mean, it's interesting that like the lady that we're seeing here, like her eyes glow as well, but they're red. Like her eyes are red, like whereas Erica's are green. So there you go, Luke and Vader, right there.
There it is.
For you, Kami.
I just cracked the case.
See, yeah, it's not the saber color; it's the eye color.
But what made me think of that is Unruly in the chat said, I get the feeling that she's better than anyone else at killing monsters. And it kind of was like, okay, like Luke is like the ultimate Jedi or whatever. And, you know, it's just that parallel, like she's being set up as that kind of like, you know, flagship heroic style character or whatever. And she is. So
we're assuming they have kyber crystals behind their eyes.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now I've got a whole like hybrid, like I don't know. I gotta write this fan fiction pretty soon.
Instead of a big knife, she's getting a lightsaber knife. Is that what you're doing right now?
Exactly.
Something's killing the Jedi.
I mean, could you imagine? That'd be amazing.
Padawans, actually.
Yeah. There's an organization.
It's not something.
There's a philosophy.
We know exactly who killed the Padawans.
Yeah, we know exactly who killed them.
Yeah.
We know who killed the younglings.
Yeah, it's to your point that and it's clear that they don't like that they've kind of lost patience with her because she's more worried about killing monsters and saving people than she is about hiding that there's monsters, which clearly seems to be more their mission than actually destroying them. Like they'll destroy them, but it's not. At least through these 2 volumes, it doesn't appear like that's their main focus, like of these people.
Yeah.
She was saying that he was there just to cover everything up, which seems like that's kind of what they do a lot.
No.
Is cover it up so regular people can't see. But, I mean, now it's out. Cat's out of the bag. That little kid got ripped in half in front of them.
Well, yeah, all those people just saw the kid get ripped in half. They don't know what did it.
Unless everybody freaking dies over there and no one's left to report it to the media or something. I don't know.
Right. And so, okay.
Only John knows that, though.
Only John knows how this particular town wraps up. Well,
John should be wearing a mask.
I'm sure there's I'm sure there's people in the chat that probably know. But, like that have probably read Beyond, but I think I'd really
human, right? And she kind of said somewhere along the line that they're not. Well, there's something other than human.
The House of Slaughter.
Yeah.
They're not human. It seems like.
Are they human hybrids? Are they clones? There's another Star Wars clinic. No,
I don't remember her saying that.
She says to Aaron, like, you don't know how to kill humans.
There was some she alluded to that somewhere.
It also seemed like, based off of, one part of this, that she was carrying around one of the monsters that killed her parents in that octopus. Was that what you guys got?
Yeah, that's basically, like, that's what she says in here is, like, in all of them, you saw in the first volume, all the House of Slaughter had, like, little stuffed animals, like, at the table. like she said basically what her line is, she managed to injure it to the point that it couldn't defend itself, and when the lady showed up, she help me capture it in my favorite stuffed animal.
But why? That's a big
I don't
question.
know, but we hear it talking to her. Like, so clearly these monsters, there's more to them than what we've seen so far. Because like what we've seen so far is they're just violent killing machines. But yet, once they saved its essence in the stuffed animal, it can talk and communicate and clearly think at a level like similar to a person. Because it's this isn't going to work. I mean, it's having conversations with her. So that'll be interesting. That's something I'm interested in also, is like, what exactly are these things? Where do they come from? Where do they,
You're on mute.
You're muted.
No. They're called Ascura-types. Is that how I
that's
pronounce
the
it?
type fighting
is that
this
one type,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Obscura type. Is that right?
Yeah.
Right, but there's been no like parent word for what these are, right?
No,
That's just one type of the monster.
It would ruin the title of the comic, right?
Yeah.
Something's killing the children. Something's killing them.
You want to show that?
Yeah, this panel here, where she's talking to him, she says, do you even know how to fight a human? And he says, shut up, this is going to hurt for a week.
Oh, because after she hit him, yeah.
He was like, do you even know, bro? Do you even know?
Because I think what she's saying there is because she just took him out, right? He tried to skip past her, and she takes him out, and she's like, "Do you know how to fight a human? You've been fighting monsters so long, you forgot how to fight each other. Like I was able to take you out no problem. Come on, man."
Yeah. I see what you mean. Yeah,
Well, we're done. They're human.
Yeah,
I think it's just what she's implying.
Attacked the old lady, and then was going to attack the cop, and
and then she just takes him out.
No, that makes sense.
I will say I am very
Weird to
interested
say.
in more about the octopus and because clearly if it's all malevolent, right? If it's just an a-hole, like if that's the whole, then why does she keep it? Like because. There has to be some function for her, that is some usefulness that she's getting out of it. I just love the relationship. And for me, it's like the second most interesting character in this series is the octopus. That's like,
I will say I was disappointed we didn't get more of the octopus in this volume.
So good.
We got more of the octopus in volume 1 than we did here, because there's really just the one scene.
I want it to be like a buddy cop thing with her and the octopus. I just think it's hilarious, and I just want more. The antagonistic stuff.
He's kind of like her immoral compass.
Immoral compass.
Like I think in the first book we equated it to the fox in Middle West a little bit.
Yeah.
Just the little devil on the shoulder.
Mm-hmm. And Rolly said, but don't they all have familiars?
Yeah, they all do.
Beanie Babies.
Or at least according to that image that they showed in volume 1, they all appear to have familiars. Now, whether or not that's truly the case or not, I don't know. But they all appear to in the first volume. Yeah.
What do you guys think of like the time frame here? Because I've only read the story a couple of times, but it seemed like the first volume was maybe like a week, and this volume is like
2 days,
a day or 2 days.
Yeah, this is like a day or something to me.
And I want to say, I mean, it's not a big spoiler, but like the last volume is like even shorter. Like the time frame keeps shrinking. It's like the climax is coming quicker now, and it's like all
the last volume. I assume it's all just the school that one night.
Basically,
yeah.
Well, when is it ending again? At what issue number?
15 was the break point, and they're starting up again 16 this summer.
Oh,
yeah.
So they did like 5-issue volumes.
Yeah, and 16 is supposed to be a origin, supposed to go back and tell a story. Is what what they've said so far, at least of what I've heard. So like basically, first 15 volumes are this town and this event, and then they're going to go back and tell a story. And where they go beyond that, I mean, this could go as long as they wanted it to go to a certain degree. Like this could be, hundreds of issues of like monsters and her and this House of Slaughter. There's a lot of ground here that they've laid.
Oh yeah.
In these first 10 issues that, like, depending on where he wants to go and how much he's Tinian and Werther Deladera.
I mean, it's not the same exact thing, but it does remind me of like the early days of Walking Dead, and I was super into that. And like, I thought, and I had no expectations for 193 issues of Walking Dead by the time it ended, and the TV show and all that other stuff. And all that stuff was great. Don't get me wrong. Like, I couldn't keep up with the TV shows after like a certain point, and then they launched like multiple spinoffs, and I just couldn't keep up. But I'm cautiously optimistic because like there seems to be a similar amount of buzz on this. It's very horror influenced. There's a lot of blood and gore and stuff. It seems to be on the fast track for TV development. It almost feels like another one of those comics where you'll be seeing TV episodes and the ongoing will still be going on, just like Walking Dead. You know, it has that vibe.
I would guess that's probably where we're headed. I would say they get another story arc or so behind them, and I would guess we're going to get a show.
Yeah.
They're going to get a little bit of a lead, and then they're going to and then somebody's going to make this. Because as hot as it is right now, and this horror and everything else, I would guess HBO Max, somebody's going to turn this into something.
Yeah.
That would be my guess. So, go ahead. Somebody was going to say something?
That wasn't me.
Oh, okay. I thought one of you were going to say.
I think it was just snoring.
Any additional things you guys want to discuss before we kind of wrap this up?
Well, I kind of can't look at John while I ask the question because it might be a tell. But I am curious if we're debating on whether Aaron lives or dies. I thought it was a great like cliffhanger tease, and it's just an arm. It's just an arm you see chopped off, right? So I'm guessing that he makes it somehow, and it's just an arm he's losing.
Oh, he's toast.
You think he's toast?
I think he's toast.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did Kachung Duffy? What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, because she said near the end, like, "Are you sure you can do this?" kind of thing.
Yeah, I guess there was some foreshadowing there, and
I got this under control.
Well, like what she says on the previous page, Tommy's like, he's gonna fight them, and she's like, that's not what he's doing, Tommy. And
he's sacrificing himself, is what she's kind of alluding to.
Yeah, she's like, no, that's not what this is, Tommy. And he goes in and like almost immediately loses his arm, and he's like, oh, this soon? Like, yeah, I think he's toast.
Yeah. So like they
who's Aaron? I don't remember who this is.
the ritual.
Well played.
The ritual.
Go ahead, continue.
What's the ritual that they talk about?
Ritual.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Ritual they have to perform to kill the monsters.
Yeah. They mentioned it a couple of times.
Yeah, I remember that being mentioned and sort of making a mental note of like, what was that? You know, and then I moved on. Yeah,
that's to come.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
John doesn't know. But yeah, I don't think he's just all theory.
Yeah,
well, I think what I got, at least when I read this the first time, was a sense that like you see her screw up trying to capture these babies, these little creatures who've clearly grown pretty quickly. And the conversations between her and Aaron in the House of Slaughter seem to imply that she knows exactly how they're supposed to handle these things.
Right.
And she just hasn't been doing it because she's looking for another way to solve it. And so the ritual, well, I understood when I read it the first time, I understood it as, well, clearly that's what she's not trying to do. Like she doesn't want to go down that road.
My guess is because even at the end, he's saying, get the little girl and get the boy and get them away from here. And my guess is it has to do with she probably has to like sacrifice those two kids to draw the monster to them because they already have those kids sent. So when they die, they'll come to feed so she can kill them. It's my guess of what that is. But I don't. Therefore, she doesn't want to kill those kids that they already have the scent for. John's dying because of. But I mean, to me, that's what I took from it. Like, it's what she's trying not to do, because he keeps saying use those kids as bait. And she doesn't want to use those two as bait because she doesn't want to kill them. And or sacrifice them to the monsters to be killed or whatever. But
I think routinely we see her rather put herself in danger, right?
Yeah.
I mean, even that opening sequence of the first issue, when she's coming out of the woods and there's that little girl with no legs who's like sitting in the wagon, who clearly was the bait and should have been left to die, has been waiting for her to come back because Erica went in and took care of whatever this thing is. And Erica
whatever
just comes
that
out.
monster was,
Yeah, she comes down, just sits down, like all bedraggled, and like, I'm hungry, I need something to drink, I need sleep. Like, this is horrible. Like, the implication being that like she's fully willing to risk life and limb instead of anybody else's.
Yeah. And the little beanbag knows what she should be doing and keeps telling her, even when she was trying to kill those things and they, the knife went right through them. It's not going to work. It's not going to work.
I mean, in a way, though, that beanbag, saved her. Even though it's supposed to be bad and essentially the monster that killed her parents, but she like, if the beanbag hadn't said anything, then she would have probably died in that cave fighting with Tommy.
Right.
Which you could argue is her other big screw up. Like,
are there Erica Slaughter toys yet? Has
anybody
jumped on that? Because
there's got to be a pop, right? There's got to be a pop somewhere, like a Funko, right?
Well, I don't
know. I don't think there. I haven't seen
yet.
it.
I would guess that we're not far from that, but I don't think there is.
Yeah.
Boom Studios, get on it, man.
I want an
Seriously,
octopus.
Yeah.
Like how crazy is it that this book featuring a masked monster killer character dropped, and then the COVID era happened simultaneously, and then it got mega hot, and it got mega freaking hot, and nobody's been able to cosplay it except in their daily life.
Right. Yeah. It's going to be the most popular cosplay going forward, right?
Because it's so simple and straightforward, and yet amazing looking.
Yeah, you can wear your tank top, you can wear your jeans, and you just put on a little mask and put your hair up, and you're done. Carry around a big old fake knife.
Big old fake knife, and
yeah. JP, I don't think you have the bangs.
Well, I don't have the bangs. It's what a wig's for. Come on, June.
I will say, if they start selling the little octopus stuffy, I'm in. Like, I need one of those.
Totally.
But I just did a quick search. There's no Funkos and no toys that I can find.
Right. No statues. I mean,
where's the damn merch,
man?
Where's
the statue, dude?
Not yet.
Imagine
I know they sell the masks. They sell the masks.
I mean, I think a sideshow would be incredible of Erica Slaughter.
Oh.
So many good options here.
Yeah.
Well, the toys are the precursor for the movies and the shows. So once we see the toys,
I know they sell the masks, but yeah,
and hit the trigger.
Yeah. Get on it.
Come on, Boom.
Right.
Come on, James Tinian.
Merchandise.
It's crazy to me the level of some there's some really popular franchises out there that have no toys or ancillary merch items. Like The Expanse on Amazon, it's a super popular sci-fi TV show. Very, very popular. Has no toys. Zero, no official toys that you can be found. Like, there's people on Etsy making, the ship on their own and stuff.
It's all that licensing. You wonder if the people are intentionally withholding that kind of thing.
Possibly.
Probably.
Because those creatures are amazing. Like they stranger things happened when they had demigorgons everywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
The creatures in The Expanse are just as cool.
Well, as far as pop culture, level of penetration, Stranger Things is up here, and I would say something Just Killing the Children is down here, but it could be up there,
Oh, absolutely.
Once this hits a visual media, I could see it getting massively big. So
I mean, in a lot of ways, this is a more modern version of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. This is, this has got all those kind of potential vibes, and for hitting the market and being a big deal, and it's a similar type protagonist, battling monsters, kind of unlike that, she doesn't really have a support system, at least that she can trust.
Right.
Although a lot of the Buffy stuff was her support system sucked outside of her immediate individual help. But like, so yeah, this has got a ton of potential. Just,
I'm embarrassed to say that I still have not seen Buffy the Vampire.
oh my gosh. I love this show.
I'm right there with him. Actually, I watched like 3 or 4, and my wife's like, I don't know that I want to watch this. And if she doesn't want to watch it, I don't know how I'm going to watch 9 seasons of a TV show on my own. So kind of out the bus.
It's daunting because there are 9 seasons.
Right.
Like,
Season 1 is fine. Yeah. It hits its stride in season 2. Like season 2 is when it gets really good.
And I think that's another hard thing to for like that diving into a show, knowing that like I got to watch 20 episodes of before I get to
season 1's only a half.
Yeah.
Season 1's like 12 episodes or something. But yeah, it's season 1's not great.
I dodged that whole
to hit your stride.
When it came to Star Trek: The Next Generation, I just Googled like what are the best episodes in the first few seasons to watch, because I was like, I'm not watching all these with my girls, and we're like picking and choosing the ones that are like important for later on, and just like skip all the rest.
I think it certainly. I mean, I watched that show in real time, so I watched every single one of them and loved every single one of them. You know, I think that it got a little weird when Spike became like a main character. And
I love Spike.
And the Angel started getting like phased out.
Yeah.
And then they had the Angel show, which was terrible. It was not good. So
the Angel show was better toward the it took a long time for it to find the stride, but I enjoyed
What streaming service is that on nowadays? I don't even know.
I have no idea.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, I'll look it up.
Buy the DVDs.
No.
Buy the DVD.
I have DVDs for the whole show, but yeah. So.
I mean, I guess this is in my wheelhouse, but I equate her to Ripley fighting the aliens.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's another good example. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Unruly's an Angel fan. We pissed him off.
Jamie Lee Curtis Halloween. I think there's a lot of like great female horror protagonists that definitely have elements that clearly were the precursors that led to somebody like Erica.
I love
it on HBO. Okay, that's cool.
It's not in his own show.
No.
But
we've got off track here. Is there?
I mean, I would almost love to see an animated version of Something Is Killing the Children, like a rated R, like Spawn on HBO, like style or whatever, something like that. That cool. Invincible is about to drop, and that's supposed to be hella violent and animated and adult. And I'm a huge Invincible fan. Like, I'm looking forward to seeing that tomorrow. Like, I'm really excited about that.
So yeah, I'm debating on whether or not I'm going to watch that or try to wait and see if it comes up as an indie show and read first. I haven't decided.
I would suggest reading it first and not spoiling that experience.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I'm at. Yeah. Is kind of waiting on that. Although it does look really good.
It does look really good.
But I think that's an area that like just American television stuff generally has been behind like other places in the world, is they don't use animation for adults. Like everything is animated, it's for kids.
Right.
And like you can tell really cool adult stories with animation.
Oh yeah.
And something like this would be spectacular because the special effects budget would be huge for a TV show to do this. Whereas in animation, it's just it's the same as any other kind of animated show, really. So I'm
hoping that Marvel What If show kind of breaks that glass ceiling for adult animation in a big American mainstream kind of way. If everybody's tuning into Disney once a week to see a What If with great Marvel actors doing the voices and original fun stories that are not just like for kids, I think they could really shatter that expectation a little. Obviously, Invincible is going to do that this week.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. It'll be fun.
Akira, the Japanese cartoons.
The Japanese have always been ahead on that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he mentions that Sam I Am mentions the Somebody's Killing the Children splash page, which for me feels like a full TV show thing. Right?
Oh yeah.
Where you've got the little bit, and then the stinger is Somebody's Killing the Children. Bam! Yeah. Like
I
page.
hear music when I see that panel. I don't even know what the music is, but I hear it in my head every time that panel pops up. And
I'll ruin it for you if you want.
It's like a creepy like crescendo of like sound.
No, it's the Law and Order.
Damn it! Now you ruined it for the rest of the fucking time.
The next time you read one of these issues, you're gonna be like,
John,
come on, man.
Oh man. I should have kept that. Should have kept that insight in my head.
That was gonna be.
Yeah.
He's not wrong. So, all right. Well, we're coming up on an hour. Sounds like we're all down for when Volume 3 comes out, like in 3 months or something. Even though they've already told the story, I couldn't believe it was going to be that long before they.
I didn't realize how slowly they did their trades compared to like Image or whatever. I forgot that Boom Studios is so slow on their trades.
Yeah, I'm just gonna read the rest digitally probably this weekend or next weekend or sometime soon.
So, I'm really digging this. I'm not a huge horror guy, like for the most part, but I am loving everything about this. I think, like I said, I think she is definitely like a breakout character in terms of, recently. You guys got any final thoughts? We'll start with Kachung and Delphia. Final thoughts on just the series as a whole and where you're at with it. And I got the feeling you guys liked it maybe the least of the panel, which is okay, but
I liked it. I actually liked this one. Kachung said he liked this one less than the first one, but I liked this one more than the first one.
Okay.
I just felt like, I felt like to answer John's statement about the timelines getting shorter, and, I think that happens the deeper you get into a story. There's more story to be told in shorter amount of time as opposed to teeing the story up. So I thought it was good that we got to learn a lot more about the characters and what was really going on behind the scenes. But I'm down for Volume 3.
Nice.
I'm definitely down for Volume 3. I think if I was to read it again digitally, like Kavi, I'd probably enjoy it. I mean, if I was to have read it for the first time digitally, it sounds like I probably would have enjoyed it more.
Yeah, I just feel like those layout issues they don't exist in the digital format.
Yeah.
They make it clear how to orient yourself, or you can just literally do panel to panel, and make it super.
And I've always been a horror fan, so it's something that I enjoy anyway. And this definitely hits the spot, so to speak.
He does love his horror.
Yeah. I love how it has the covers in the back.
Oh, a lot of the variants and stuff? Yeah.
This one by the interior artist of James in his bed.
Oh,
that's a good one.
There's a lot of really cool ones. I mean, the covers on this whole series where they
the cover, the store exclusive covers, the regular variants, the prison covers, like they've all been really pretty good and consistent.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just really great art. Like some of it's just so interesting to look at and just beautifully done, even for horror.
Yeah. I mean, much like JP, I'm not a big horror guy. Like, I don't watch a ton of horror movies. I don't, outside of this series, I can't think of another comic series besides Walking Dead that I really read any of that's in the horror realm or, horror genre. So, as a person who doesn't really consume a ton of horror on a regular basis, I'm super into this also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, we are at the hour. You guys got anything you want to talk about coming up on your channels before we get out of here? John, what you got going on, man?
No, nothing. I mean, I dropped a edited video a little earlier today, and I got my Saturday show with the girls. But this was my big thing here, between the next few days. So check out the edited video I dropped earlier. My last of the pull list videos I've been doing. I'm trying something new next week.
Ooh.
Yeah, and really is right about that. That would be hard because some of those covers are ridiculously expensive.
I wanted to mention one of the things for people if they haven't tried this is tried this series is that I think they do a really good job of like building on the horror mythos of the like female champ. You know I mentioned Jamie Lee Curtis in Halloween, or you know you have Sidney Prescott in Scream or whatever. The sort of self-aware hero. I think they do some really cool things with that, so that it feels less like a horror comic. And I'm not a big horror comic guy, but it feels more like a classic horror format. But like the character building is far more complicated and interesting than a typical horror story.
Yeah, more of a mystery.
Yeah. And I hope that this prequel that they're planning doesn't just like to lay out her entire story, because I like that there's a bunch of it that's not given to us. I love that there's huge holes where we're just trying to fill it in with our own imagination, because I don't want to know everything. I love not knowing everything.
No. Kavi, you got anything coming up or going on?
I think I got something with you and Bearded Comic Bro on your channel in a couple weeks. We're reading Batman Dark Victory, which is the sequel to Long Halloween, Jeff Loeb, Tim Sale. So that's not on my channel. It's on JP's channel.
Yeah, it'll be my turn to host.
What episode number is that? Like
25?
24? So we're almost at that quarter century mark or whatever.
It'll be almost
exactly
2 years. I think if we went like next week, because it's the week after, we'd be almost exactly 2 years from the first episode. Though.
Wow.
So we're averaging 12 and a half episodes a year.
We're averaging 12, one a month.
One a month. Yeah, that's decent.
Yeah.
There's a lot of planning and scheduling and then reading involved in that one. So I got that going. I had Original Art Hour on Monday night with Andy E. So that's available now on the Rewind. It was my first guest who isn't really out there on YouTube and Instagram, like sharing all the time like we are. But he was a viewer of the show, contacted me, told me how much he appreciated the show, and then started sharing his collection with me offline and offered to come on the show. So that was a fun episode. And he had some really fire art.
Yeah,
he had some sick art, including like a published Jim Lee Wonder Woman cover. It was like some fantastic art. So go check that out. That's available.
Okay.
Pretty much it.
Delphia, Kachun, what do you guys got going on? I know Kachun's got a new show with Mr. Garrel.
Yeah, nothing on our channel at the moment, but I'm doing a Star Wars, specifically Star Wars only show with Mr. Garrel and Hoser Comics every week, Tuesday nights. We kind of slot in between Justin's show and John's show, the X-Men show. But yeah, we chat all the time about Star Wars, and we figured, hey, let's just let this overflow into an actual show, and we can talk all about Star Wars we want. And so we kind of break down a character each week. That's kind of the majority of the show, and then we just reveal what's going on in the news and with books, and bring out our...
It's a fun show. I've watched all the episodes. They're good.
Yeah, it is a good time.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I got my usual weekend stuff. I don't actually have an indie show next week lined up, but next Thursday, I'll be hanging out with John on April Fool's Day. We're doing an April Fool's edition of Comigories. So we're not doing it on Monday. We're doing it on Thursday next week. So shenanigans will ensue. And then the week after is when we're doing Dark Victory. And then that week also I have the next round of Fables that we'll be doing for the indie show. So, and then I'm going to start setting up some polls, and I'll do those on my community tab to start narrowing down what we're going to do, what we're going to read for season 2 of the indie show. So I'll start posting those here in another few days, maybe after Sunday's whatever show. I'll set up what the first poll is going to be and set that out for like a week and let people vote for it. So
good idea.
So help me narrow it down. So we're going to go with that. Thanks everybody for hanging out, and we will catch you guys next time.